This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever you heard me. All right, so basically we're just going to avoid talking football today as much as we possibly can because we knew this was coming because we're lifelong Viking fans. I thought they were going to win that game, but Yeah,
they had opportunities down the road to win it, but I think we still should have a positive outlook for the rest of the season.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're 5-1. That's not bad.
Yeah. And it's not like they got beat by some scrub who's going to be battling for the number 1 overall draft pick either.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm sure we'll dive into that more.
Whoever thought you were going to say that about Detroit?
Right?
Right.
What a weird sentence to say.
Anybody that went to sleep in like the mid 2000s and waking up today, like, what do you mean? Detroit's terrible. It's been terrible forever.
50 years of terrible, but you know,
Never been good.
such is life. I gotta be honest with you. On the way in, I try to listen to some news here and there and bounce back and forth. I used to try to get up early to watch the national news on television. I can't do it anymore because it's so just absolutely horrendous on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unwatchable. This is what it's all about, blah, blah. So I'm listening to some of this stuff and watching some of this stuff. And look, I'm not picking a side in this whole deal. The side that I do love is if your person gets elected, it's going to destroy this country. I got to be honest with you. There are Republicans and Democrats. You already destroyed this country. All right. This country is in big trouble because you're so horseshit at your jobs. All of you are. So more money. Every time I pick up the newspapers, we need more money. We got to have more money. How much more money do you need? You pain in the ass.
Yep.
But I think and again, it has nothing to do with who's doing it or whatever. I tuned to 3 different channels this morning, and all 3 of them were going on and on about how disgusting it is that Donald Trump went to McDonald's. Like, what? Who cares?
Right. You know how many people go to McDonald's every day?
He happens to like McDonald's. He went and had a little fun. That's not okay anymore. You can't do that anymore, huh?
No. Do you know what he ordered at McDonald's by chance?
No, I have no idea. I just heard him bitching about it on the way in.
No, he went and like worked.
Yeah, he worked. That's right.
I thought he like pulled up through the drive-through with the Secret Service. Oh,
no, they shut down
worked.
McDonald's so he could go and like.
No, they didn't shut it down.
I saw that it was posted that it was closed.
I know. It was posted as closed. That was a flat-out lie. It was not closed. I don't know why they always do this kind of stuff. Matter of fact, I heard that on the way in, that on all 3 different outlets, and 2 of them were progressive. The other one was pretty conservative. But no, they said it's a flat-out lie that they were not closed.
Sorry, maybe not closed.
Well, it's not
like,
sorry, but you were lied to.
But it was, I guess, I think closed was the wrong, because I know what you're talking about, but I think it was you had to
go through the drive-through.
You had to like apply preemptively that you wanted to eat there that day, because obviously if the president or a former president is showing up to somewhere, not any Joe Schmo can just walk in like, oh, I want a McChicken and walk in. They're going to take some precautions.
You're right about that.
So there were some security measures, I think, is the right way to maybe phrase that.
But I just heard a woman go on and on and on about this is a prime example of how if he's elected, he'll destroy our democracy. Going to McDonald's,
burning those fries,
babe. Look, I just don't get it.
And so I'm now seeing the video of this, and I guess
you are okay.
So he's handing fries out. Not really. It's a photo op, is what it is, right? But he goes, "I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamal."
See, now that stuff is funny. And if she had said it about him, I'd be laughing at him too. I mean, honest to God, can we just get a sense of humor again? To say that doing an appearance at McDonald's is a horrible idea that might wreck our democracy. What are you talking about?
It's fine, everybody.
Look, no matter who gets elected in 2 weeks, it's 2 weeks from tomorrow. We're not going to know it 2 weeks from tomorrow because it's too close, obviously.
Yeah, that's the annoying part about that is like I want with all other voting stuff. I feel like, and granted, it's not as important as the presidential election, but like when you vote on whatever, you usually get like, oh, hey, it's immediately tallied. We know exactly the percentage. there's that 4 to like 7 day window of we're still tallying all of these votes. So we can't officially call it yet. I just want the answer.
Yeah, give me the answer.
Call us when it's
I've had to endure all these ads and political, like the campaigning stuff and these debates and stuff for 8 months now. I want the answer as quick as possible. Let's figure it out.
And the thing about it is, I've been through a lot of these over the years, watching this guy is going to be horrendous and this person's going to be horrible. And oh my God, it's going to destroy the democracy. No, you know what's destroying our democracy? Lying for money. That's on all levels. If you lie to make money, you are destroying this country, and get your head out of your ass. Now that I got my feelings about the election, because like I said, I've lived through all these elections in my lifetime, and no matter who wins this one, I'll live through it again.
Mm-hmm.
Calm down. Jesus, you think your person's going to win? Good for you. You think the other person's going to win? Good for good.
Yeah, it's the same. I think South Park did it.
South Park is phenomenal.
They had the one, I think it was it Obama McCain, that election.
Oh yeah.
But it's like getting into like an underground bunker and come out the next day and it's like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's just fine.
Exactly right.
Which is why, like, when I see the clips of, like, I think it's Elon Musk doing his onstage stuff, this is going to determine the future of Western civil. Relax, man. I understand using hyperboles to an extent, but we're just going off the rails here.
Oh, there's no question. It's getting worse and worse on both sides. It's both sides too.
Oh yeah.
Now the good side of life, ladies and gentlemen, Pavic Museum. Pavic Museum is the Minnesota version of the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Right. So the Pavic Museum had a special Halloween performance written by Dave Lee, former morning guy at WCCO. Great guy, by the way. He's just a really nice man. But I wanted to tell you about the joys of life, not necessarily tuning in and listening to how our lives are going to be destroyed if your person gets elected. Catherine and I went to it and there was a meet and greet beforehand for some of the people. And I did not tell any of the people in it I was coming.
Oh, this is just right down the road from here.
Oh, Pavic is right down the road. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was this close.
Oh yeah. It's a couple miles from here at the most. But I get there and Dave Lee comes over. Well, first of all, Tim Russell came over. He played Frankenstein's monster. Tim Russell, legendary announcer. I tried to get him on the KQ morning show once, but Hammy wouldn't do it. I don't know why, but Tim Russell, really talented guy. But to see him, Kathy Werzer was there. Eric Eskela was there. I got a hug from all 7 people on stage. We were hugging each other saying, hey man, it's great to see you and all the rest of it. There are people out there that actually do care about you. I hope you understand that. That's the part of the news I don't want you to take too much in and get sucked into it. There are a lot of people. I don't care I haven't seen Tim Russell in probably 15 years. It's like I saw him yesterday, you know? So you had Dave Lee. Then you had Don Shelby as Dr. Frankenstein.
That fits.
And he even put on an accent. I invited him to come on this show one of these days and do the accent. Let me just tell you something. What is it? He's like some kraut. Is that what it is? Is that the deal? But I want to make sure I get everybody in there because I close the evening with one of them. So there was Dave Lee. Then there was Don Shelby was next to him. Nancy Nelson was that. You guys are probably too young to remember Nancy Nelson. Just a beautiful woman, sweetheart of a woman, a great person. Then Tim Russell, and then it was Kathy Werzer, then Eric Eskela. And I finished out last night, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we all hugged one another. It was just this wonderful moment. Hey, great to see you after all this time and blah, blah, blah. It was just very warm and wonderful. It was a lot of fun going to it anyway. Then at the end of the night, they made the big move. I run into Freddie Bell. You know who Freddie is?
Nope.
The morning guy at KMOJ. What's the matter with you?
Freddie,
you support your people or not?
KMOJ is a fine radio station that
it's a fine establishment.
Yes, great.
Well, listen to you too.
Love KMOJ.
Freddie is just a supreme talent. He was a woman last night that was far too good with him, good for him, just like me. Same situation. But I had invited Freddie to come on the show one of these days. And I want him to come in if he possibly can. I don't know how he can figure that out because he does the morning show over KMOJ, always has.
Yeah.
You know what Kamoja means?
No, I thought it was just callers.
Nope. Kamoja means something. Come on.
I don't know what it means.
As a black man in America Day, get off your ass.
Let's see. KMOJ. Yeah, I've got nothing.
I'm not telling you. You're going to have to look it up. We'll take a break. We'll give you a break and take a break. But ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to say, yes, I did listen to some interviews, and yes, I watched some interviews, and it made me feel like crap. But by the same token, I ran into a bunch of people, and there were tons of other people that were there having a really good time. To see all that talent, all those people, some I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was just like I saw them yesterday. So thank you to everybody over at the Pavic for putting that thing on. Catherine and I had a great time meeting all these different people, and the performers. You guys were so nice to me and my wife. I will be forever grateful. What a wonderful, wonderful thing it was.
Is it Swahili for one?
Swahili for unity is
unity.
Right.
Okay.
Kamoja, we have unity.
And it comes from the Umoja, Swahili word Umoja, U-M-O-J.
What'd you call me?
So.
Did you just call me Umoji?
Umoja?
Umoja?
Yep.
Emojis.
These are Tom's and emoji. Hi, kids. Yeah, great. In any case, so look, put up with the pain in the ass things in your life, and you are going to, just like I did run. I had no idea I was going to run into all these people, on Saturday night. Look for the good things. It was so wonderful to see all the listeners, all the people that worked there, all the people that performed that day. I met so many nice people that it was just unbelievable. So, Pavic, good job putting it on. I will be back. Kath and I will both be back because we loved being there. So thank you again. Made our weekend. Well, hey, that and hanging out with the family. You know what I'm saying. I'll close with this. Ethan will turn 3 years old on November 7th. Okay, so they're having a birthday party for him.
Mm-hmm.
But they came to all four kids came to our house this weekend. So we had Fawny at 8, we had Sage at 6. We had Ethan about to turn 3, and of course now we got big shot Colin. He's like 3 weeks old now, something like that. But to watch these children and the joy they have just being around one another. At one point, little not quite yet 3-year-old Ethan walked over to Fawn and to Sage and said, "I love you." I mean, it's just sweet to see.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. It's how the world's supposed to be, man. I wouldn't walk up to like a woman on the corner and tell her you love her. That's probably not the way it should go.
If you try it, let us know.
Yeah, let us know how that worked out.
Great content.
So many great things out there, but yeah, it's just so sweet to see. He loved being treated so well by Fawn and Sage. It was just fantastic. So we will take a break. We'll be right back in a couple of seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Got to talk about a Viking loss by 2 points. They missed the 2-pointer. Otherwise, it would have been a tie game.
And I heard Phil's ready to tear it all down. Stop the farm.
Yeah, Uh-oh. Here it comes.
Phil's giving up.
We'll take a break. Be right back with Phil. Who was Phil again? Phil, what are you doing, Phil?
Wasn't that a Modern Family bit with?
That sounds about right.
She was like, the guy was like, his name was, or she was saying her or Phil or something, and he tried to touch her shirt, and she was like, "No, I'm saying that his name is Phil or something."
Phil. Modern Family. Oh yeah, that's right. Phil. So the guy was feeling her shirt. Yep. That's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety of wondering if you've saved enough money, that can be overwhelming, no question about it. But what if I told you you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? I mean, just walking into the same room as Josh Arnold eases the tension. He does it every Friday here. My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. I think I got to mention here, by the way, it's very, very important now because this is an election year and they piss our money away like there is no tomorrow in election year. So, I mean, it's a little unsteady right now, and you need a guy like Josh Arnold to straighten it out. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions. That's what I just referenced. And he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Do not let your financial worries give you an ulcer. Yeah, I don't want an ulcer. Or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice, and I am a paid endorser.
When you need someone to listen to, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Let us talk for a second about my bank. That'd be, of course, North American Banking Company. I just call it NABC. You know. No, I don't, actually.
That's hip of you. That's very hip.
Very hip, isn't it? Yes, very hip. Look, there's no shortage of banking options in the Twin Cities. You know that. If you're tired of being just a number to your big national bank, be sure to talk to my friends at North American Banking Company. They offer the same online and mobile banking options as other banks, but with the unparalleled service of a community bank. I also like being able to go to any of their 6 Twin Cities locations: Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, St. Thomas football returns home this Saturday on 1500 ESPN and 1500ESPN.com. Next up, the University of San Diego. Pre-game at 11:30, kickoff at noon on 1500 KSTP. Oh, sorry, it's ESPN now.
There you go.
I said 1500 KSTP for about 3 years of my life. So, no, it's 1500 ESPN and at 1500ESPN.com. What's up, homie?
Well, a lot of people overreacting and jumping off the Vikings bandwagon today after a close shave loss. And maybe even more people outraged over the way Game 5 of the WNBA Finals ended last night with the Lynx, and I'll use a phrase from Cheryl Reeve that I agree with, getting a game stolen from them, a championship stolen from them by the crooked officials.
Yeah. Possibly one of the most egregious calls in the history of modern day sports.
Really?
Like, it was bad. The game itself was very sloppy. Both teams did their best to lose the game, but at the end, when it came time to deciding the game, the refs kind of stepped in and took over.
It was so and there's clips of the one play in particular, but the Lynx, I think they had a 2-point lead at the time with seconds remaining, and the New York Liberty inbounds the pass to Brianna Stewart, who is their best player, just one of the best players in the league. She takes the inbounds pass. And Tom, you've watched enough basketball in your life to know that you must dribble the basketball to start with, right? You're not allowed to just start running without. So she takes the inbound pass. She literally takes 3 or 4. Oh, we got fire alarms going off in here.
Oh, my goodness.
She takes 3 or 4 steps.
Wait a minute, I got to do a promo. The Phil Mackey Show. He's on fire.
That's right. So,
there you go.
They're testing fire alarms in my.
Are you going to be okay? My God.
You're building on fire.
Jesus, Palomino.
That's what happens when you try to deliver a hot take, and apparently the
oh, that was a good one. Very
fire
good
alarms go off. So anyhow, she takes the inbounds pass. She literally walks 4 or 5 steps while she kind of tries to figure out where to dribble. No travel called. Lynx defender straight up. She barrels into the Lynx defender and again, it was marginal contact. Puts up a missed shot, and they call a foul. Okay, it's all right. Let's review it. We'll just go review it and make sure that it was. Because they go in, they review it.
We should not be able to miss a call. Like, we can go back.
Right.
Yeah. Make sure we get it right, Phil. Absolutely.
And so they slow it down. And I don't know. Anyone who was watching, it's like, that's a travel for one. I don't know if they can go back. But definitely not a foul on the Lynx. They uphold the call, and She hits the 2 free throws. They wind up going to overtime. They lose the game. But like, just brutal. But if you were going to fix a result, this is what it would look like. New York market, a league that inexplicably lost $40 million despite the Caitlin Clark windfall. It just felt really suspicious, and Cheryl Reeve hammered the league and the officials after the game, and it was glorious.
Yeah, and to add to the suspiciousness of the situation, so the WNBA is very progressive in their media coverage and how they.
What do you mean by
players.
progressive? What do you mean?
So, like, I mean, they do like these cool, like, after halftime, they walk with the players down the hall and interview them rather than just kind of standing on the court and things like that.
Okay.
So they have microphones in the huddle, and they're going over, here's what the Liberty about to do. And so the coach is like, all right, here's the play drawn up, this. And then at the end, she goes, but if that doesn't work, Brianna, just embellish the call. Like, flop around. And they quick cut the audio because we don't want that getting out.
Yeah,
and then it goes out and plays out on the court exactly how the coach drew it up.
They cut the audio. No, we can't have this be out to the public.
And then the icing on the cake was that the commissioner was sitting courtside and goes to present the trophy. Her dress is the skyline of New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
You can't make it up, dude.
You're kidding me.
It's about as plain as day as possible, yet they're just like, it was a hard-fought series. It was a tremendous Game 5. Historic for this
Can
league.
you imagine, like, in the Super Bowl, and it's the New York Giants versus the small market Minnesota Vikings or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just egregious officiating for 3 hours, including a very controversial call, and the Vikings lose the Super Bowl to the Giants, who are back on top. And Commissioner Roger Goodell comes out in a full New York skyline suit. That's what it was like last night.
So basically, let me get this all figured out in my noggin here. Is it good for sports that 3 teams won, 2 of them won, places in the World Series, and one was from, I think, New York, and maybe another big town like LA or something.
Yeah.
And then they, with the New Yorkers, also win the women's league. Are any small markets ever allowed to win anything anymore?
Well, and if you look at, and I think Major League Baseball, I think they got to I don't think there was any fishy business this year with that, because I think the Yankees and the Dodgers they're 2 really good teams with the 2 best players in baseball. But in a time where baseball's public interest is declining and younger viewership is, and just the NFL's Thursday night football game on Amazon Prime, so not even on like cable, you got to go find Amazon Prime, does double the numbers of the ALCS and NLCS peak games. So if you're baseball, having New York and LA represented to spike audience, and just like the WNBA, hey, we lost $40 million despite the Caitlin Clark windfall of interest and revenue.
Right.
What's our next lever to pull? Well, let's get the biggest market excited about the championship New York Liberty. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but
is there anything that's not a scam anymore? People lie constantly. I mean, you watch the national news, not so much the local news, but all people do now is lie to benefit themselves. That's what they do.
Yeah, it is. And I'm glad AJ brought the commissioner thing up. To have the commissioner of the sport, literally wearing a dress of the New York City skyline.
Like, imagine,
are you serious?
Imagine Rob Manfred going out there to hand out the commissioner trophy, and he's just got now like a Bronx, like Manhattan suit with a Empire State Building tie, and it's like, here you go, Aaron Judge. Celebrate after.
Now, in fairness, maybe she had a Stone Arch Bridge dress ready to rock and roll, and she just made she left her cherry in the spoon dress back in the dressing room.
Absolutely.
Cherry in the spoon. What the hell is that all about?
Sculpture with the cherry.
The Walker Art Center.
Walker Art Center.
Kind of sexual, don't you think?
Oh, your mind in the gutter right now, Tom.
Your
You
mind.
deviant. Scoundrel.
No, honest to God, everything is such a scam now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, the Vikings lost legitimately. That was not a scam. The only scam was their offense being unable to seal the game with a key third down conversion. But
I know, what the hell was that? But you knew they were going to lose. I mean, it looked like they were going to win for a while. I'm like, well, maybe I was wrong. I commented on, Oh, you know what I just found out over the weekend, by the way, and I had no idea it was true? I have 3 different Facebook pages.
Oh, 3 now. Okay.
Why the hell do I have so many Facebook pages? Who put those up?
What are the 3 different pages?
I don't know. There's one, I think there's a Hubbard one, and there's my personal one, and there's another one from
like a fan page or something.
I don't know. It's something.
Oh, yeah. It's Tom Barnard Sucks Facebook.
Oh,
Is that the one you're
I've
talking
seen
about?
It many times. I think Catherine put that up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm seeing here the co-owners of that page are Catherine Brandt and Phil Mackey.
Oh,
interesting.
You're supposed to hide that contact information.
Never happened. Don't worry about my feelings. It's all right. No, I don't know. It's just, look, I don't watch women's basketball. I don't watch basketball anymore. I used to be a big basketball fan, but I just not anymore. But could you be any more obvious that you fixed the game?
That's
the only do now is fix the game.
Yeah, well, the only comparable is 22 years ago in the NBA when Tim Donaghy, the rogue gambling referee, that there's like a Netflix special on it. Didn't he write a book explaining everything he did too? Pretty sure. But that was like one rogue official who admitted, yeah, I fixed the 2002 Western Conference Finals or 2000, whatever year it was, where the Kings and the Lakers were playing. But it wasn't like the league's initiative to get the Lakers in. It was one rogue official looking to make $100,000 or something off.
Right.
So crazy, man.
Oh, well, so now we basically, and again, I did not think the Vikings were going to win all of their games this year. Did look like they're going to win that game. They went for the 2, and they should have gone for the 2. Didn't make it. It would have, it didn't guarantee extending the game, but it would have at the end extended the game had they made that 2-pointer. But this is Minnesota, so we never make those important ones.
Yeah, I would say just for some perspective today, though, it's definitely a stinging loss, and there's a bunch of ways the Vikings could have won the game. But 6 months ago, if I would have told you, hey, with Sam Darnold as the starting quarterback, the Vikings are going to be 5-1. They're going to have wins over the 49ers, the Texans, a win at Lambeau Field, and their only loss is going to be a back-and-forth heavyweight fight against the Lions, who are 29-7, I believe, or 27-9 over their last 36 games. One of the 3 best teams in the NFL. I think people would say, yeah, we would take that after 6 games.
Absolutely. And what's the kind of taking the temperature of the fans? Yesterday, do you feel like most people are still on board with we're going to win the whole Super Bowl, or are people jumping off the ship and trade everybody, burn it down?
We did have a caller on Vikings Vent Line who unironically and dead serious said they need to trade Sam Darnold ASAP before the trade deadline.
Why?
Squeeze some value. We're like, well, you know that like Nick Mullins is the backup quarterback and he's going to throw 5 interceptions every game.
Right.
So my sense is that people have taken a step back from the Super Bowl train after yesterday. But that was never the goal. Going into the season, It was, boy, if they could make the playoffs, that would be a crazy success story. So they're definitely still in position to make the playoffs. It just might not be the year that they win the whole thing, surprisingly.
I think
we'll see.
The real question is there any going to be, is any other facial hair going to be shaven on the show today, Phil?
Well,
there was a top 5 moment, I think, in Purple Daily history yesterday.
Yeah, Tom. So Declan had a winning streak mustache. And he thought,
God, here we go.
He thought 2 months ago, like, I'll just grow a mustache for the season and they'll probably lose in week 2 and then I'll shave it. And then they win in week 2 and then they keep winning and then the bye week. And so we made a pact that if and when they lose a game, he would shave it on Vikings Vent Line. And the audience, we polled the audience, do you really want to watch a grown man shave his mustache on YouTube on the podcast? And by golly, he did. So Norelco, if you're out there and you want to endorse the Tom Barnard Show or Declan, Norelco, shaving mustaches.
I'm picturing, I've never seen Declan in a mustache, but I'm picturing his face right now. He must look like an 8-year-old with a mustache.
Yeah, imagine a Tom Selleck mustache, a very bushy 1980s Tom Selleck mustache on a carrot. That's
on a carrot.
Yeah,
that's even better.
Jesus.
That works even better for me. Yeah, you know what? He said he was going to keep the mustache until he won the Super Bowl, so maybe he can start growing it back again.
I think you have to start growing it back now. You have to.
You have to. I would think so anyway. All right, is that everything, Palomino?
Yeah, I'm just going to go talk to the authorities and launch an internal WNBA officiating investigation here, and I will report back on Friday.
You know what amazes me about that is that you can flat out lie right in people's faces now, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That referee reviewed the call, stared into the camera of a national audience, and said the call has been upheld.
Unbelievable.
Staring right into our souls in Minnesota.
That's what people do now worldwide. People lie to benefit themselves. It used to be a little off here and there. Now it's just flat out, I will lie to benefit myself every chance I get.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to start doing.
I mean, how do we learn that was a good idea to just lie your way into wherever you think you should be?
You know, it's great, actually. If you think about it, if you can just get away with it, I don't know why the four of us aren't doing more of it. That was a foul, America. No, I don't think it was. It was a foul.
Phil wasn't on the show today. I see him on the camera right now.
No, he wasn't.
Your call was upheld.
Right.
Yeah.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
All right. Well, I'm going to go just whine for 6 more days, like I always do with the Vikings. You know, typical. My whole
not even 6 more days because they get a Thursday night game this week.
That's right, Thursday game this week.
Let's go.
What time's that game start?
Put some ice on it. 7:15 on Amazon Prime.
Well, I could watch the whole thing. Even what do you know? It's on Amazon. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're playing who?
The Los Angeles Rams. Kevin O'Connell's old team that he used to coach for the Rams about 4 years ago. Went to the Super Bowl, won it.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, absolutely. So that's Thursday, 7:15 start. It's on, what is it on?
Amazon Prime or the Prime Video app on your smart TV.
Shows you I wasn't paying attention to a word you were saying right there. You know. All right, pal, we'll suffer through another one. Look, I'm not suffering because they're not going to win every game. I did not think they were going to win all their games this year, but they did have a chance to win that game, and they didn't get it done.
Yeah. Such is life in Minnesota sports.
You are correct, sir. We will talk to you on Friday.
Sounds good. All right, guys. See you.
Thanks a lot. Phil Mackey, SKOR North, ladies and gentlemen. Take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Some other yucks coming up. I don't know. We'll find out who it is, you know.
Yeah.
Tom, for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities, Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity, and that's very, very important. No question about it. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is a place I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care focused facility that has a full nursing team, always staffed within the building, and that's 24 hours a day, by the way, 7 days a week. They have never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire Medina is now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. I know them personally, and they are a family-owned local company conveniently located in Medina and Bloomington. They're the best staff memory care facility in the state, as a matter of fact. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends. And again, they are my friends, known them for 2 generations now. Set up it's so easy to do. It's true. My friends at Wellshire will set up a tour for you. You can learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. I love that new spot he's got running on TV. Well, that's their loss and your gain. I like it when he does stuff like that. When Mike started MyPillow as just a problem solution, one product company, well, since then, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about, For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towels, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. You're looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of My Pillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation. 952-925-5608. Chris Egert, what's happening, Pally?
Hello, how are you?
Marvelous, except for, my football team hit the wall. But
Yeah, your basketball team didn't do all that well last night either, unfortunately.
Okay, we got to cover that part, and I know we're not going to spend a lot of time on it because you got some serious news to talk about. But how on earth do you wear a dress with the New York City skyline on it to a game?
Well, the whole thing, I was watching the pregame show for that. The whole thing was like Minnesota wasn't even a freaking team. They had Spike Leon, and he was blathering. Mm-hmm. First of all, he had nothing to say about basketball. They were like setting him up with like the easiest questions. So, Spike, what do you like about the women's game? And he couldn't even like answer a basic question about basketball. I don't know what. And then they had Jason Sudeikis on, who's apparently a big New York Liberty fan, and I don't know, from the commissioner and the New York dress to the whole bit, it didn't seem like we had any chance of winning at all, just based on all that. And then to have the game kind of play out the way it played out, and a very questionable call there towards the end, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's Minnesota's involved, so we obviously have to lose. It's just part of the deal. You get 2 World Series in 50 years, and that's all you get.
Yeah, and I mean, these guys, this would have been the 5th, which it's impressive. Yeah. And but they had their. I don't know. I'm a firm believer in Tevin, and AJ can weigh in on this too. But it never comes down to one call. There are plenty. There are plenty of things that happen prior to that. It should never come down to one call. That's the thing that people remember. They don't remember the layups that were missed, or they don't remember the shots that were missed, and they don't, they remember the last.
Yes, goes 2 for 14. That doesn't help, but
right. And I would say too on that, the questionable call where it clearly looked like the Lynx player blocked her after she traveled and drove to the basket, and they called a foul on her. I don't remember what her name is.
Brianna Stewart.
Most refs will call that if you're not straight up and down, and she did lean into her. She didn't touch the ball, but she did lean into her. Most refs will call that. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry if people don't want to hear that, but
right.
And you can look at the replay and go, well, she did. It was clean. She didn't touch her. No, she didn't. But a lot of times those refs will call that. They need to jump straight up and down. And if those arms go in at all, a lot of times they'll call that. But
it is weird though, Chris, that you can in real time. I understand that. But when you go to a video review that takes multiple minutes and you have all these camera angles in the year 2024, it's weird that you still come out and look into a camera and say, the call has been upheld after we just saw previously a 4 or 5 step travel after an inbound or after.
For sure. No, you're right. With the instant replay thing, there is no excuse. But the travel was the most blatant thing. It was like she took 10 steps just to get to that one shot.
It literally was like 4 or 5 steps, I heard.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, the NBA has been notoriously bad at calling travel forever. Yeah. Like it's a running joke. I don't follow the WNBA well enough to know if the refs sort of overlook travel in this league too. I mean, based on what I saw last night, they clearly do. But
I enjoyed the outpour of some NBA players' voices on like Twitter last night. Like Damian Lillard was like, they low-key just rigged that.
Yeah.
And LeBron had something to say. Isaiah Thomas had something to say. It's just like, great game, but officiating. What was that? Where was that call?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Any big news in the news section of our lives? Not just how sports suck.
Yes. A couple things. There's a huge recall of waffles, frozen waffles, about any brand you'd ever heard of frozen waffles. So folks with kids and grandkids who eat these things, go to KSTP, go to, whatever your website is, and just look up waffle recall. Like, there's a ton of brands that are very well known that are under this thing for a listeria outbreak. And then there's a big thing over the weekend that sort of blew up and everybody lost their mind over. There was a van full of ballots that was sitting at Edina City Hall in the back end of a truck for 8 minutes. Nobody was looking at them. They were just sitting there. They went back and double checked it against the voter logs, and apparently nothing was compromised.
Of course it wasn't.
Well, and what you just said there, Tom, is going to be this will be the most scrutinized election of all time when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I'm here to tell you, and anybody who's older than this stuff has always happened. There have always been. The ballot process is not perfect in any way, shape, or form. It's also not uniform. So a lot of different places do it a lot of different ways. I think there's a reason for that, because if one voting company controlled the whole thing.
Right.
So as it gets up closer to the election, and you can bet your keister after it's over with, no matter how it plays out,
right,
there are going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of specific things like this that are going to turn up, and everybody's going to lose their mind over it, and rightfully so. It's not a perfect system. I'm not defending it. It's a mess, but you're going to be hearing a lot about it.
But what we have to do now is we have to get some decent leadership steps up and says, okay, enough with the lying for your own benefit. You're going to have to set the system up. You have to register to vote. You have to be a citizen to vote. The fact that they're allowing people who aren't even citizens to vote, what the hell is that now?
Well, and that whole bit is a controversial, because most states have different rules, and that is for different reasons, because a lot of times they're trying to court a different demographic of voters, and it's but I mean, I don't see a scenario where after the election, everyone just, like, that night, everyone just goes, well, I guess that's it. I guess it's all over with.
Yes.
It's not going to be the case. You absolutely know it. I'm bringing up this ballot issue thing because this is one case in point. Get ready for a barrage of things like this all over the place.
Yep, here it comes. That'll be the next year. We'll be going through all that stuff. That'll be
well, we even know who the president is going to be by inauguration day. I'm not certain we will.
I don't think we will at all. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah. I don't think there's any way it's that close, isn't it?
Unless the polling is so off, which I doubt.
Well,
because it would have to be for either one of them, no matter how it plays out. The polling would have to be so far off that, like, it's a landslide one way or the other, and the other person can't. There's just nothing they could say or do to go, well, the ballots were messed up or this or that or whatever. Well, if it's a landslide, it's going to be hard to make that argument. But
I would imagine that's probably the case. I guess I'll just be watching it the 2 weeks from tomorrow. That's a lie. I never watched an election. I'm not going to watch that crap. Look, people lie. They've been lying my whole life. They've been lying long before I was ever even born. Lying is an integral part of being a human being. Human beings lie their ass off constantly.
I will say this. My favorite part of the election coverage is the guy that they bring in that has the big map in the background, like a weatherman.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, terrific. And he's just going 100 miles an hour trying to explain the different, here's who's voting.
John King usually does it. King usually does it for CNN, but every network has somebody who's like the guy on the board. Yeah, it's pretty funny. They'll be like, here, take a look at this. Here's Bucks County in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
just some
that's
county you've never heard of is all of a sudden the most important focal point of our presidential election for a 30-minute span.
There's a reason I said Bucks County, AJ.
Oh yeah,
that's where Trump was at the McDonald's this weekend. There's a reason he was there.
I thought you were saying Bucks.
That's one of those.
Well, that's true.
No. Okay. But that's funny though too. It's an affluent suburb of Philadelphia, and it's supposedly one of those places which how that goes could be a bellwether for the rest of the country. So.
I just honestly, God, why do we have to?
I know. I know. I honestly, I have this like feeling of dread in my stomach that no matter what happens, it's going to be just like it. I'm thinking back to the hanging chads and all that crap in Florida. That's
look at this little tear.
I just having done this for a long time. I just feel like that's where this is all headed, but.
AJ's too young for the hanging Chad reference.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you don't know what hanging Chad is? Well, maybe you should
Bush.
study history. What do you think about that?
Nah,
get off your ass and do it.
It was Bush. It was Bush versus Gore, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, right. It was Bush Gore.
Yep.
And it came down to Florida, and they were going through ballot by ballot. AJ, and they had this system then that was an electronic. It was kind of like a punch system. So think of like a place where you've ever worked that had an old school time clock that sort of you put it in and it punched. So this particular Chad's or hanging Chad was like if they punched the ballot and it didn't go all the way through or part of it looked a little off, they were like disputing each frickin' ballot.
Right.
Like in a court of law, and it was a disaster. It went on for months. It's just, I feel like that's what this year is going to be like.
Amazing.
It is true. Now you actually made me happy today because you mentioned a person, Al Gore, who ran for president. And then of course he put out a book called An Inconvenient Truth about how we're destroying the planet's ecosystem and all the rest of it. And I will never forget the first time I ever heard about that. Matter of fact, he's leaving his hotel right now. He's headed over to the auditorium. Not one, not two, but 8 SUVs to drive him over to his appearance. So we're
he got an airplane to get there too, right?
Exactly. We're destroying the ecosystem by driving 8 SUVs around the city.
It's for the greater good, Tom.
It really is. Absolutely. I got to remember that. No question. Brilliant report as usual, sir.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of the day.
Wait a minute. What did you just say?
He invented the internet.
I said he invented the internet.
Right. He invented the internet. I forgot about that.
Don't forget that.
Not too bad. All right, Pally. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Later, boys.
Thank you. Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. We shall take a break. Do we have to put up with Sandy? Do we really have to?
You know what? I'm excited to see him today.
Why?
I want to because he gave a good preview about how it was a very hard fought game. It was going to be in the running back tandem and everything like that. I want to know his thoughts. I want to know if he's fully off the bandwagon or if he sees maybe a light at the end of the tunnel for this.
All right, we're going to find out together right after this. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Reynolds do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot. Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said, so why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Bob Sansevere Sports brought to you by Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw & Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Bob Sansevere here to piss and moan about the Vikings.
Not true.
Not true.
Nope.
Not
Matter
happening.
of fact, I'm going to do something I never do. I'm going to put an optimistic spin on this, which I don't believe even I'm doing. All right.
I can't believe it either.
Vikings going to be 9-1 going into the Bear game. How's that? There's optimism.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bob.
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 That's what we like to hear, Bob.
You son of a gun.
4 in a row, huh, Bob?
But here's well, because okay, the teams they're playing have a combined 9-17 record.
Ooh.
3 of them have losing records, starting with the Rams on Thursday night. Now they are not over in their history, but it goes back to the 70s. They're like 1-7 on Thursday night road games. But so what? This is a different team.
Yeah.
They are playing a Rams team though that will have Cooper Kupp back for the first time since the fully healthy since the first week of the season. But they should be able to handle that. Then they play a Colts team, which to me, that's a smoke and mirrors team. 4-3. Come on.
Right.
And then they hit the Jaguars and the Titans. Each team is miserable. One's 2-5, the other one's 1-5.
Oh.
So those teams are just brutal. So that Jaguar team just won a game yesterday. Their first game in a while. But the one thing, if you're going to be a little, and you should be concerned about it, but I mean, the whole woe is me, these Viking fans, that like some of them sounded like they wanted to jump off the top of a building. You lost to one of the best teams, maybe the best team in the NFL, certainly the most complete offense in the NFL. You got the best tandem running back, and we talked about it, AJ, as you mentioned last week. You got 3 really good receivers. You got one of the best young tight ends. And the quarterback, he is, and I know people think, oh, well, he's not that good. Well, he is. He's an MVP candidate the way he is playing. This guy has been phenomenal for them.
Yep.
And, I mean, for people to get all worked up and be upset, it's ridiculous because they lost. The Vikings are good. They just weren't good enough to beat the Lions. And the one thing I will say, though, about it, yes, at the end of the game, you got to hold the ball and not give it back. And they couldn't do that.
Right.
They ran twice and then an overthrow that Sam Darnold had to Jefferson. That was a bad pass. I thought they would run 3 times to try to drain the clock. And when you have, I'd put my money on Aaron Jones getting a first down. But they did what they did, and then they didn't stop them to get into field goal range. So that's a concern. And Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, he has had success against the Flores defense. I mean, he's a terrific play caller. There's a guy the last 2 years had opportunities to become a head coach. He wants to stay because he knows how good that team is. He'll be able to get his pick of a team. He's just waiting for, I guess, the right team that works for him instead of going to some, slappy team that's just going to get their ass kicked. So it's don't get upset. It's going to be fine.
Bob, I got to tell you something yesterday. Yeah. I pulled a boner, as they used to say. They don't say that much anymore. No. But in any case, I decided to go get some snacks for the football game, right? So it's 11:30 in the morning. I'm going to run over to the store, get some snacks for the football game, and have a good time. So, and I'm walking around the store, and there are all these people wearing Viking shirts, some jerseys, some just the T-shirts, all the rest of it. And as I walk by, they're all looking at me like I'm the devil or something.
You had a Lions colors on or Lions shirt?
I was wearing blue shoes, blue pants, and a blue shirt.
Oh, the Lions colors.
I'm like, what are they staring at me for? I was like, oh my God, I'm all dressed up in Detroit Lions colors.
I hope you didn't get deli meat. They might have spit in it.
Yeah, probably spit in it on the way out the door. Yeah, they were looking at me. I'm like, why are they all looking at me like that? But it was, that was what it was. Is that, and by the way, it was like Detroit Lions blue too. It wasn't just some blue.
The Honolulu blue.
Yeah, the Honolulu blue or whatever. Exactly.
Hell, it happens.
In any case, so we got 3 games. You said the next 4 games.
Next 4 games before they play the Bears, which will be a tough game. And also, who thought they finished 17-0?
No,
we may have you joke about it, but that wasn't going to happen.
No,
I mean, the only undefeated team, and it is. Here's the argument, though, that I would make. If I were to give an MVP, it would be Patrick Mahomes, whose numbers are pedestrian, but he wills that team to win.
He does.
I mean, he had no receivers, no wide receivers that were Xavier Worthy may be good someday, but I mean, he's not a dependable. He's still a kid. He's a rookie, not dependable. So Andy Reid and they just went to tight ends. They found a way to get it done and use the running game. It was, and by the way, San Francisco is in a big mess when it comes to their wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk, it looks like he got his ACL may be shot. He may be done for the year. Jeez. So that's not good. But anyway, they've already beaten them, so I don't have to worry about them. I actually wonder if they'll even make the postseason.
Really?
The Niners. Yeah, because they're struggling. I mean, they are a struggling team.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that one ends up. But the Vikings Thursday night game against the Rams, they should be okay. But the 2 things you got to be careful. Kyron Williams is a great running back, and Cooper Kupp being back. Stafford looks a lot better when he's got Cooper Kupp to throw the ball to. I think they should be fine, though. We'll see.
Question I have for you.
Yeah.
Why would you name your kid Cooper Kupp?
Or Kyron?
Cooper Kupp.
No, they're interesting names. Kyron Williams and Cooper Kupp. Well, there are Coopers. There's a Cooper. Peyton Manning's there's a Cooper Manning, his brother.
Cooper Manning, yeah. There's nothing wrong with the name Cooper, but Cooper Kupp.
Oh, Cooper Kupp. CK, yeah.
What's your name? Me, Bernie Bernard. What do you say?
Yeah,
my name is Bernie Bernard now, ladies and gentlemen.
It does roll off, though. Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm. Cooper Kupp.
It's a guy that you say, it's a full name. Like,
yeah.
You never I'm never gonna like call Tevin Pittman all the time.
Yeah, right.
But like I refer to Cooper Kupp as Cooper Kupp all the time.
Yeah.
So
you don't call him Kupp.
No.
How's Kupp doing? Cooper Kupp. That's a good point. There aren't a lot of guys. And by the way, the Hawaiian names, you never go with the first and last name on those. Ua ala olo. Ukalakalaka ua ala omo. So you
like it.
Yeah.
It's a good name. No question.
Hey, did you talk about the Lynx earlier?
Bob, I just don't understand. Is there anything that human beings don't cheat at or lie about?
Okay, Tom, here I did not watch the whole game, but I watched a good part of overtime.
Mm-hmm.
The officiating was horrible. However,
the
Lynx, I mean, how many times are you going to turn the ball? The refs did not turn the ball over.
No,
they did not. I mean, neither team looked like it wanted to win in overtime. I don't know if they were both in a panic mode because they knew what was at stake. But I was not impressed. The Lynx could have won that game despite the officials, but they couldn't hit a shot. I mean, who saw the end of the game or the game?
I did.
Am I wrong? They were brutal. The officiating was brutal, but so were the Lynx, and so were the Liberty at the end. They just got enough points early and late to make a difference in the overtime.
Tevin had it perfectly earlier. He said both teams did their best job of losing that game.
Yeah.
It was just, I mean, the shooting was I think it was 60-60 at the end of regulation. Like,
Yes.
The WNBA is kind of a weird league where you'll see, Sabrina hit a step back 3 to win game 5 or game 3 or whatever it was, but then you'll see missed layup after missed layup.
Really?
What is going on?
This Ionescu, right? After she threw launched a 50-footer when they could have held the ball and tried to get something closer. She was 1 for 19. Why is she even launching the thing? I'll get number 2. And I mean, it was a brute. It's one of the worst overtimes I've ever seen. And yes, the officials could have been better. I mean, the travel from the 3-point line to the lane, that was, they never called that. No dribble. But again, the Lynx had a chance to win and they blew it because they kept turning the ball over. Both teams looked like they wanted to choke the game away.
Yeah. And before the Breanna Stewart foul, non-foul play, travel, whatever, there was Nafisha Collier had a layup attempted with 8 seconds left that would have put the Lynx up 4. She's one of the best players in the WNBA. She's got to make that shot, and then we're not even talking about the call at the end.
They wouldn't have been up 4. It wasn't a 3-point. It was a 3-point game.
Or was
they were never
4 or 5?
No, they were never in the lead. You're talking about late in the regulation.
Yeah, late in regulation.
Sorry. I thought you meant in overtime.
No, late in regulation. Then we wouldn't even. Breanna Stewart's play wouldn't have mattered when she hit those 2 free throws at the end. So yeah, they should have won. They didn't execute, and then the refs didn't help them out at all either.
But you know what? You always have to expect an issue with refs, and you just have to keep your composure, which neither team did at in overtime. It again, one of the most brutal overtime performances by both teams you could ever see. Neither team seemed to want to win or have the ability to put the game away. Obviously, the Lynx couldn't put it away. What did they wind up with in overtime? 4 points or just 2?
I think they just had 2.
Yeah, that's terrible. Anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent on them. Anybody care about hey, you know what? I love World Series starts, I think, Friday. I love it when 2 small market teams that don't spend any money could make the World Series to go against each other. The Dodgers and Yankees. Come on.
Oh, God, isn't it unbelievable?
I'm so sick of seeing home runs with the Moneyball music behind it. Have we forgotten what the meaning of Moneyball is, ladies and gentlemen? I don't want to see Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani backed with the amazing score that is Moneyball. These teams are paying hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's the new Moneyball. You just pay money to play ball.
It's the reverse.
Yeah.
Take a look at that Yankee lineup. How did they ever lose a game?
I know.
I mean, the money they have spent. And Ohtani, the great thing about this, we will see him, hitting and pitching because they're going to need him to. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to watching it.
We'll keep an eye on it. Well, yeah, I understand that. So, we'll see what happens. Everything else going on all right, Sandy?
Everything's just Jim Dandy there. Or Tevin Dandy, or AJ Dandy.
Oh, God. Boy, look at the time.
I knew how to get out of this one.
The old clock on the wall says it's time to go. All right, Sandy, we'll talk to you later in a week.
See you later.
Thanks a lot. Bob Sansevere Sports brought to you by Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw & Bryant at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. That's MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. We'll take a break. A couple of stories got to look into. Kristen Burt coming up in about 20 minutes, about 15 minutes, actually. We'll be right back right after this. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank all our listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, it's just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products, some of you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towel sets, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. You're looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You are indeed. Oh, you know, one thing I did forget earlier from the PAVIC thing that we went to on Saturday, and all the great people I ran into, just had a wonderful time. But Mike Max was the moderator, did a hell of a job. So I wanted to mention that too, that Mike Max did a good job being the MC of the whole thing. It was good to see him as well.
That's good.
Legendary broadcast people in town.
Yeah, I would assume that was a great show to watch, to have all of those guys
fun.
do a radio Frankenstein version.
And they had the sound effects people, right? Who they got the tin sheet, you know. They're
like thunder or something.
Thunder, yeah, it was phenomenal, no question about it. But hearing Don Shelby try to do a German accent was pretty. Well, he didn't. I should say he tried to do. He did do it, but it's hearing that kind of, you know, that stuff coming out of his yapper is a little weird. I will tell you that. But yeah, I didn't want to. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Mike Max earlier, but he was the host or the intro man, I guess is the best way to put it. Did a great job. I don't understand this. If you want better sleep, stop eating these foods right now. What food would you eat without talking about a lot of caffeine or sugar would not help you sleep?
Spicy food, maybe.
Oh, you think maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, you're both going with spicy food?
Yeah, I think that probably is the best bet.
Because I haven't clicked on it yet.
Okay.
I'm going to click on it right now. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that eating the wrong food can make you have a bad night's sleep? Do you wake up in the middle of the night or feel restless throughout the day? Do you have heartburn or upset stomach? If so, they're all signs that food might be interfering with your sleep. And now we're going to find out what they are. Should I go from 4 to 1 or 1 to 4?
Let's go 4 to 1.
Okay, we'll go 4 to 1. Okay, here are the foods to stay away from if you want a better night's sleep. Number 4, greasy, heavy meals. What? I'm not big on eating greasy food anyway.
Yeah, every once in a while I do crave like just a greasy cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, once in a while, yeah, I understand that.
I think that could be a good one though for like if you go out and you know it's instead of letting like the liquor and stuff like fester in your stomach all night, having like a cheeseburger, something like that to like soak up the alcohol overnight, so you're not as hungover the next day.
All right, so you would go with the greasy, heavy meal if you drank a lot.
I think that's like the mandatory way to go. That being said, I can understand how it probably does mess up people's night's sleep.
Oh yeah, greasy food.
Absolutely.
I don't like greasy food anyway. I never have. Anything with caffeine, coffee, soda, some teas, even chocolate. Experts say to avoid it a few hours before bed. Well, no. Here, let me down in one of these before I hit the sack. I'll be just fine.
My nightly cup of espresso.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. Why would you even think of drinking caffeine? Although some people drink that stuff 24 hours a day, it doesn't bother them at all.
Yeah, some people have that weird tolerance.
They really do. Number 2, anything with high fat or acid content. Oh, so you have heartburn all night? Yeah, that'd be it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, this is kind of cold, though. anything with high fat or acid content. And then somebody put in parentheses, so you mean everything that tastes good?
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So that's a problem right there. And processed junk food. I don't eat junk food, so I don't. I just don't like junk food. It's not that I'm avoiding it because it's junk food. I just don't care for it. It's okay. I mean, well, like would I eat a McDonald's burger? Yes, but I wouldn't eat 5 of them.
Right. That's the other thing too. It's all about moderation, and
it is, isn't it?
You go eat 2 chicken nuggets, probably going to be all right.
Yeah.
But then you go eat, 20,000 chicken nuggets. Yeah, you're in for trouble.
Remember when like Burger King had for like $4 or whatever, you could get like 100 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
If I could do that.
Or do you think that Catherine would like the penguin? Do women like it as much as men?
Well, I think so. I feel
Okay,
because if you and Catherine have very similar tastes, like
Yeah, we
if
do.
it was me and Bill, I'd be like, Bill's gonna love it, and I'll be like, it was okay. We have very different tastes when it comes to television. So, but I think you guys should sit down and watch it together.
I still miss, honest to God, my mother saying about watching television. She would never say, I watch this show, I watch that show. She would always say, oh, yeah, I tuned into my stories. It's like your stories. Have you ever heard
Did
anybody?
you watch soap operas too? Because those were considered stories.
No,
back
she
in the
would.
day.
No, she was working all day long, so it was only at night. Her stories. She liked humor. She liked that kind of thing. So, I suppose you're going all the way back to Red Skelton and Jackie Gleason and all those kind of people, I suppose.
Yeah, and I wondered, what do they call the radio programs back? Because when she probably first was getting introduced to entertainment, I'm sure it was like considered stories that were being told on the radio.
That's
and
true.
That transfers over
Good
to
point. That's a good point. Well, we got our first TV when I was 4 years old. I know that. It was the first one in the building.
Jeez.
That's how long ago that was. So, but it's just, I just love the fact that there's so many magnificent stories from all around the world now. And I think this week is when, what's the name of that show I was talking to you guys about with Sean Evans? It's something about killing somebody or something. I think that story starts this weekend, I think, coming up on one of the channels.
Until I Kill You.
Until I Kill You. There you go.
Yep.
When does it start? October what? Because it is coming on TV either this week or this weekend.
Till I Kill. I think it's out right now.
Is it? Did
Come
it
out
come
this
out?
past weekend.
Yeah.
It came out the past weekend? Oh, so you have something new to watch anyway. But there's another show called Midsummer Murders. There are 1.5 to 2. I think they're 1.5 hour episodes. I didn't, there's got to be at least 25 seasons of that show. Just that alone, you got 100 shows that are 1.5 to 2 hours long. There's so much great stuff out there now. These are really, really good shows too.
Yeah, the nice thing about streaming is that it has allowed a variety of stories to be told that we never would have heard before.
Right. Yep.
A lot of things that broadcast cannot touch, and things that movie executives are just not touching at all, because we're just like, everything is a franchise. But streaming has allowed us to learn more stories and even hear true stories or do the adaptations. I just keep thinking about it. The Menendez brothers, we'll have an answer on them within the next 10 days. That's what George Gascon, our DA, is saying. And had Ryan Murphy not explored this as a scripted series, we probably wouldn't be here, or maybe not be here as quickly with the Menendez brothers.
Because you always go off the deep end, we brought a lawyer in now to check your speech. We got Michael Bryant's in studio now, so he'll check your speech, what you're talking about, see if it's all true.
I know you guys are in the middle of Menendez, but did you watch Stutz?
What is Stutz?
Stutz it's an interview by Jonah Hill of a psychologist. And it's an hour and like 30 minutes. And I liked it so much. I watched it to the end and turned around and watched it again.
You did?
Oh, it's really good.
Wow.
It's all about dealing with depression. And a lawyer that I was with this weekend suggested that in a book that I ordered. But my God, it's really good. It's really
What
good.
channel is it on?
It's on Netflix.
Yep.
And that was based off of Jonah Hill's own experience
Correct.
with his mental health issues.
Yep. It's well worth it.
God, we got someday going to have to get into the psychologist, psychiatrist stories because honest to God, human behavior, the best examples I've ever heard of it. Well, I won't say who it is, obviously, but there is a friend of mine who's a really good psychologist, very, very smart man. He's from Rhode Island, as a matter of fact.
I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But he had this kind of concerned look on his face.
No, that's not good.
And I'm like, well, that's not good coming to see my buddy. But then I found out that he was seeing a young woman. She was, I guess, in her mid-20s, something like that. And during the entire hour-long session, she kept hiking up her skirt like an inch at a time. Wow. He said it made him so uncomfortable because she kept hiking up her skirt. He said finally it got to the point I had to mention to her, you're going to have to pull your skirt down a little bit. I mean, got basically to the very level where, was about to reveal a lot.
We're starting to play peekaboo.
Yeah.
Yep. It's common, though, for therapists to sleep with their patients, which obviously is crossing a very horrible ethical line, but it happens more than you would think.
We've been involved in those cases.
Oh, you have?
It's like you slept with your therapist?
No. Oh, yeah.
Like, all right, you dog.
Way to go, Mike. Typical.
I just keep trying another one. But two craziest things when I've gone over and met clients and stuff is sitting in the chair, you're talking to the client and stuff. And one time I had a Doberman pincher pop up between my legs.
Oh my God.
Second time it was their 4-year-old. And it's like,
that's,
and both of them were, so it's like, where, so